Okay. So we got Mark Becker, please. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Claudia Simonday from the Public Defender's Office on
Okay.
behalf of Mr. Becker.
Thank you.
Mr. Becker is from South Florida. Sorry, I need to find him. Where are you in here?
Page 11.
Page 11. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yes, he's from South Florida. He lives with his mom and dad. He has some medical issues. He has high blood pressure. He's right now on the med floor at this time. He'd be open to pretrial release, as well as ROR.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I find probable cause on Mr. Becker. State, what do you want to do on pretrial release?
Can we
Reporting twice a week, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can't hear him.
The state was requesting a pretrial release that requires Mr. Becker to report twice a week. Is that by phone or in person?
My phone is not ringing.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I find probable cause. We're going to establish a pretrial release that requires Mr. Becker to make phone contact twice a week.
I'm
Okay?
listening.
Okay. Now, the bond on my sheet says $1,000. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the defense is requesting ROR with that pretrial release twice a week. Is the state okay with that? All right, so we're okay with that. Okay, so it's
Thank you, Your
ROR, pretrial release. He has to make phone contact twice a week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, now we have Sean Boston, is that right?
Your Honor, mine is totally different.
page
Well, no,
Myself,
no, you know what? You're okay, because we just took these two out of order, then we're gonna go back to the regular order.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Sean Boston, I'm finding, okay. Okay, I find probable cause on Mr. Boston. What are we gonna do about pretrial release?
Your Honor, he's also open to he would like pretrial release, as well as ROR. Your Honor, he has heart problems. He has stents and blood clots. He has 3 children, one of which is 16 years old and is at home at this moment. So that's what we're requesting pretrial release.
Well, what kind of pretrial
and
release? What kind of pretrial release are you requesting?
I go to school too. He also goes to school. Your Honor, I'm not sure what level. He'd be open all the way up to ankle monitor, but what he would like is, ideally phone or in person.
All right, what's the state requesting on Mr. Boston?
A 2013 petty theft, a 2013 cocaine.
Your Honor, I'm really sorry to interrupt. I can't hear them at all. There's no sound coming, so I can't.
Okay. All
No, I
right,
can't.
all right, Ms. Friedman, let's try that again.
So we are requesting $2,000 per count, and that is in part because of its priors. He has a 2013 possession of cannabis within 1,000 feet of a school, a 2013 petty theft, 2013 possession of cocaine, 2011 petty theft, 2011 possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, a 2011 possession of MDMA, a 2011 possession of MDMA again, 2011 possession of cannabis with intent to sell, 2010 grand theft auto, I apologize, Your Honor. 2009, I'm sorry, possession of cocaine and paraphernalia,
All right, what I'm going to do is I'm finding probable cause. I'm going to set the bonds at $1,000 on each count. So I'm showing 4 counts in front of me, so it's $1,000 bond on each count.
I understand, Your Honor. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any way to pay those off. So he would just, it'd be almost like holding him on no bond. There's nobody to pay that.
Where, okay, but if I give you pretrial release level 1, where would you live, Mr. Boston?
I live on 5413.
Who do you live,
Northwest-
who do you live
I
with?
live with my girlfriend. I stay a lot of here. I won't get in no trouble, man. I've been in no trouble in 9 years.
All right, I'm gonna set the bond at $500 on each count. That's what I'm doing, okay? That's the best the court can do with the gentleman. All right?
I can't get up.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to my regular order here, right? Miss Johnson, Michelle Johnson. Okay,
Good morning.
good morning. I'm finding probable cause on Miss Johnson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Ms. Johnson's been in Florida for 16 years. She's employed right now with Mednax, and she does have a sister. She has children here as well. She has one child who has special needs cerebral palsy, and so needs her attention. She has no pending cases, and
Okay, what's the state asking for?
Your Honor, the state is asking for a $500 bond and no victim contact.
Okay, $500 bond, no victim contact.
Your Honor, she would not be able to afford a $500 bond. Is there any way that we could put her on a form of pretrial release instead, and ideally for ROR?
I thought you just told me she works. Do you work, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, $500 bond, no victim contact.
I understand, Your Honor, but unfortunately, because she works and her child has cerebral palsy, that just, it depletes the money that she may
Okay.
have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I give this one back to you? All right. Okay. We've got Nicholson, Jessica Nicholson, please.
Should be Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan. Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay, I find probable cause, so what are we going to do with Miss Nicholson here?
Good.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Okay, Miss Nicholson posted a bond, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anything further I need to do? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We got McEwen, Megan McEwen.
North Broward.
Okay, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Miss McEwen, I'm finding probable cause. State, what are we doing with Miss McEwen?
Your Honor, the state's fine with the preset bond amount.
Say it again?
The state is fine with the preset bond amount of $25.
Judge, I spoke to Miss McEwen this morning. She can't afford the $25, and she doesn't have any phone numbers that she can call. To be blunt with the court, she has no Florida priors at all. There's nothing else that shows up in the state of Florida. She's asking if she could potentially resolve with the time served.
State?
I would ask for a withhold since she has no priors at all.
A withhold is fine, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Miss McEwen, raise your right hand, please. You promise you're going to tell me the truth?
Yes.
Okay. It's been represented to me that you desire to resolve this case today, okay? Rather than contest it, you're going to plead no contest. In exchange for you pleading no contest, the state's recommending that I withhold adjudication and sentence you to time served. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand you don't have to do that?
Yes,
All right. But you've discussed this with your attorney and you think this would be in your best interest?
yes.
All right, all right. I find that Ms. McEwen is alert, she's intelligent, she understands what it means to accept a plea. So I'm going to go ahead and withhold adjudication and sentence Ms. McEwen to time served. Okay? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm going to waive court costs on that. Okay, Judy. Abigail Judy, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Where am I?
It'd be the main
Page 2,
jail.
Your Honor.
Is this Maine?
Main jail.
Ah, that's why I'm, okay. Okay. All right. All right, I find probable cause. State, what do you want to do on Miss Judy?
Municipal ordinance.
I can't hear her again.
I can't hear.
It's a municipal ordinance, Your Honor.
I got a violation of probation.
But on her municipal ordinance case.
It's
Okay.
actually a misdemeanor case. It's wrong on the docket. It is a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we doing for pretrial release? It says,
Your Honor, we would ask for pretrial release at this time. She says that this is that she really doesn't have any other issues going on. She has a friend and sister here in South Florida. She's from South Florida, as well. I'm not sure.
what was the basis for the probation? This is a violation of probation case, right?
But I can tell you, Your Honor, I'm looking at the affidavit right now. This was filed in 2015, so
Right.
a little while ago. Part of it, the allegation she failed to pay $50 for the cost of supervision back in March of 2015.
This is Abigail Judy?
Yes, Judge. Is that what you're asking, or are you asking something?
Well, the basis for the violation was petty theft,
So the underlying charge is the petty theft.
and then the basis for the violation's a petty theft.
Failure to pay the $50 cost of supervision and fail to attend and complete the shoplifter's
Oh, okay.
alternative program. Those-
Okay,
It looks like another petty theft
all right, so
Oh.
what,
as well.
okay, what's the state asking for?
Your Honor,
The defense is asking for ROR, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, what's the state asking for?
$500 bond.
All right, I'm gonna grant your request for ROR,
Thank you,
okay?
Your Honor.
Okay. Williams. It looks like it's,
is it-
Arvisha,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Arvisha Williams, please.
Judge, when it comes to probable cause, I just had an issue with how it was written. So she's being charged with going within 500 feet of the residence. The officer lays out that according to the order, that allegedly Miss Williams is not allowed to assault, threaten, abuse, harass, follow, interfere, or stalk the victim or the child. Nothing about how close she can get to the residence. I tried to look up whatever the order is. I don't see any criminal history in the state of Florida. I don't know what the actual order is, but the officer doesn't actually say, the order says she can't be within 500 feet.
Okay, I'm finding probable cause, okay? So now we need to talk about pretrial release.
Okay, Your Honor. We're asking for ROR at this time. She needs an order for her property, and she would, if she were to be put on a bond. However, she's a mom. She has a child who's 3 years old. She does have a part-time job. This is the first time that she's ever had any issues or trouble. So we would ask for ROR because she really can't afford much, if anything, at all.
Well, she must
but-
have had trouble a year ago because this injunction was signed in the spring of 19. Okay.
I think that those were accusations made, but I don't
Well,
know.
the one-year injunction was entered in April of 19. So there had to be something that triggered that. But what's the state's position?
Your Honor, the state would be asking for a $750 bond, no victim contact, and no return.
All right, so I'm gonna set a $500 bond, no victim contact.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Can we also have an order for access to her property so she can get her phone and her wallet?
Yeah, I think she has to go accompanied by law enforcement.
Okay. But
Oh,
can
you
we
do?
get that order?
Okay, okay. Yes, but that request is granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Boyd. Frederica Boyd.
All right, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Okay. What do we have on this young lady? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm finding probable cause. And what's my sheet here says $1,000 bond. What's the state's position? Leave it alone?
No, Your Honor, the state would be asking for a $2,000 bond. The defendant currently has a pending grand theft auto and a pending robbery in front of Judge Fine, Your Honor.
Okay?
Judge, I'm asking for the $1,000. This is count 4. She's being held on the other counts already,
Okay.
including a no bond hold.
All right, I'm finding probable cause, and I'm going to leave the bond set at $1,000.
So, that means this is saying that.
Okay, Stephanie Walkman.
Yes.
Okay? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm finding probable cause on Miss Walkman. The sheet in front of me says $1,000 bond. What's the state's position?
Leave it alone, Your Honor.
Okay?
Judge, she's unable to afford the bond. What I'm asking for is standard pretrial with random testing, and I explained to Ms. Walkman, if she tests positive, she's going to be held no bond, which is a much worse situation.
Okay, now standard pretrial, is that,
She'll have to go to the office. I'm assuming they're going to be closed Monday, so first thing Tuesday morning, she'll have to go sign up, and they'll tell her the conditions, and then if you order random testing, she'll be randomly tested.
okay, I'm going to do that, okay? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to grant your request to be pretrial release, okay? But it has a condition, ma'am, of random drug testing. Random means exactly that. You don't know when it's coming, see? Okay?
Okay,
All right. Good luck to you, ma'am.
thank you.
Singletary, Ashley Singletary.
Stay in jail.
Okay, I find probable cause with Miss Singletary. I got a petty theft and 2 violation of probations. What's the state want to do?
Your Honor, the state would be asking for a $1,000 bond in light of the fact that she has 7 prior theft offenses dating back to 2011.
All right, say it again, please.
I would be asking for a $1,000 bond in light of the fact that
That's
she...
on the petty theft?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and what about on the violation of probations?
I would be asking for $100 bonds on the subsequent counts, Your Honor, the other 2.
Okay, in case you didn't hear, it, the state's asking for $1,000 with the petty theft and $100 on each of the VOPs. What's the defense position?
Your Honor, is the petty theft being charged as a felony or as a misdemeanor?
It's a...
I don't know the answer to your question. What's the answer to that?
a misdemeanor, Your Honor, but my request was because she has 7 prior theft offenses.
Right. Okay, so it's a misdemeanor, to answer your question.
Your Honor, then I would ask for $100 bond. $1,000 is extremely excessive for a misdemeanor petty theft.
Okay?
I understand that there may or may not have been 7 prior thefts according to the state, but I don't know if those are convictions. I don't know if they were
Right.
just arrests or accusations.
All right, so I'm going to set bond at $100 on each count.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And there's a VOP hearing next week,
Yes, Your Honor, I'll let her know.
okay?
Thank you.
I'm switching it to $100 on the VOP on each VOP, okay? $100 on the petty theft, $100 on each VOP. That's what the state was requesting, right? $100 on each VOP, correct?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Williams, Katrina Williams. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Okay, what do we have?
Your Honor.
I'm finding probable cause with Miss Williams. What are we doing with
Yes,
Miss
sir.
Williams?
Your Honor.
My bond
if we
sheet
could-
says $750 for this one.
Yes, Your Honor, and again, I don't understand why, I believe this is a misdemeanor. If we could please bring it down to $100. I'm sorry, Miss Williams has 4 children, all at home. She would also need an order for access to her property as well.
Well, I have no problem with that part, but see, this one does show there were 3 prior felony, not felony, there were 3 prior theft convictions for this young lady.
Okay,
All right? So is this, what's the state asking for?
Your Honor, the state is seeking a $2,000 bond. She has 9 theft priors.
All right, no, I'm not gonna bump it up to 2,000, but I'm gonna keep the bond at 750, okay? I'm finding probable cause, bond is 750.
thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Floyd, we have Floyd next. Sheanne Floyd.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I find probable cause. The bond sheet in front of me does not have a dollar amount. This is a bat Leo and resisting without. What's the state asking for?
Your Honor, count one, the state would be seeking a $750 bond, and count two, $100.
All right, so the state's asking for $750 on count one, $100 on count two.
Your Honor, if we could get count two ROR'd, and we can leave the bond at $750 for,
Okay, that request is
battery.
granted, okay? So it's
Thank you.
$750 on the bat Leo, $100 on resisting, I'm sorry, ROR on resisting without.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nancy, Steve. Okay, good morning, ma'am.
Hi, Nancy.
Okay, I find probable cause with Miss Steve. Now, I've got two petty thefts and two possessions. I got $100, $100, $1,000, $1,000. What's the state want to do? Leave that alone? All right, what's the defense position?
Your Honor, on the possessions, if we could please bring those down to $100. And also on the petty thefts, if we can bring those down to RORs.
Okay, I'm going to leave the petty thefts alone. I'm going to bring the possessions down to $500 on each count.
Your Honor, she won't be able to pay that out. So essentially by doing the two 500s, she'll be held on what is essentially a no bond hold. There's no way for her to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Robinson, James Robinson. This is an out-of-state hold. Okay?
Hi, Your Honor. Okay.
Okay,
We're ready, Your Honor.
so the state, you're asking no bond on this.
Extradition's held Tuesday, Thursday, so
Okay,
he'll be
all
held
right.
until he sees the extradition judge.
Okay, so Mr. Robinson, your matter is an extradition matter which will be heard either next Tuesday or Thursday. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Hiya.
Radcliffe. Germond Ratcliffe.
Your Honor, I believe he's at North Broward.
All right,
No,
thank
he's
you.
at Conti.
All right, thank you. Okay, Germond Ratcliffe. No? Where is this gentleman? Does anybody know?
Your Honor, I don't have him yet.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll come back to him. All right, so they don't have him yet. We're going to come back to Ratcliffe, okay? That brings me to Stinson, Gregory Stinson. Where's he, please?
Your
He's-
Honor, he's here in Maine. He's walking up. He has epilepsy, so it makes it a little bit hard for him
Okay,
to
okay.
respond quickly.
All right, I find probable cause. What are we doing for bond on this one?
$500 bond, Your Honor.
All right, state's asking $500.
Your Honor, he won't be able to make that amount. If we could put him on pretrial release, standard pretrial release, he's 35 years old. He really struggles. When I speak to him, even he's struggling with his epilepsy. He hasn't been able to get his medicine since yesterday. His mom and dad here live here in Pompano. He wouldn't be going where the alleged battery occurred, and he does have a place to be.
He would live with his
If we could-
parents?
He would live with his parents. If we could do ROR and then have pretrial release, standard pretrial release, so that way he can make sure that he keeps his epilepsy and
Okay, but when you say standard pretrial release, what is that?
whatever Your Honor would require, if it would be to come in or to do phone calls, but just so he can be out and be taking care of himself and his medical condition.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grant that request. I'm going to ROR.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm going to grant pretrial release. The gentleman has to personally, physically appear at pretrial release once a week.
Okay?
Okay.
Personally appear once a week.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Okay? I'm sorry? Call in? No. No contact, I'm sorry. And no contact, obviously, with his sister.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No contact order on that. Beautiful. I think that we're gonna, okay, now we have Dorval, George Dorval. Okay, good morning, Mr. Dorval.
Good morning.
All right, I find probable cause with Mr. Dorval. State, what are we doing with the bond?
Your Honor, state would be asking for $1,000 bond. The defendant has a previous battery from 2004, an aggravated assault, and a resisting without violence, Your Honor.
Okay, state's asking for $1,000 bond.
Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay, so
Thank you.
I find probable cause, I'm setting that, now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. We have to have a no contact order between himself and his brother, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
But
We
the,
understand.
okay, but the problem is the probable cause affidavit is showing they live together, all right? So I just want to make sure the gentleman understands that.
Oh, I understand that fully.
Okay,
That sounds
okay.
fine with me.
Beautiful, okay, thank you,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Flournoy, Kurt Flournoy. Good morning, sir. Good morning. All right, I'm finding probable cause. I'm showing 3 counts. The sheet in front of me says $100 on the resisting without and $2,000 on the capious.
Your Honor, we're asking for ROR on the, count number 1, resist. And then on the capious, he just got a job. He wasn't given notice. He had just moved. He wasn't given notice of the hearing. He's never missed before any court hearing. He says that he just really didn't know, and was in the midst of moving at the time that this occurred. So ideally he would get ROR, but, if he weren't to do that, his brother can pay up to $100, so we'd ask for $1,000.
State.
Your Honor, I would ask you to keep the bonds in place, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to leave the bond alone at the $2,000. So we got $100 on resisting without, we got $2,000 on the capious.
Can you say that again, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
That's okay. $100 on resisting without, $2,000 on the capious.
Okay, does he have priors, Your Honor? Is that why?
The court's concern is flight, okay? The probable cause affidavit indicates, when approached by law enforcement, he elected to take off. And so my biggest concern on that is flight, okay? Whenever I see that, all right, on a probable cause affidavit, I'm concerned, all right? So that's why I'm putting the bond at $2,000.
Okay,
But
thank
that's
you.
my explanation. You're welcome. Troop, Livingston Troop.
Conti.
I think you said Conti, right?
Conti.
Okay. All right, good morning, sir. All right, I'm finding probable cause on Mr. Livingston Troop. State, what are you asking for on bond?
Count 1, Your Honor, $3,000. Count 2, $1,000, and no victim contact.
Judge, I would just ask for $1,000 each count. He's being held no bond on count 1. These are counts 2 and 3.
Okay, that request is granted. So we've got $1,000 on count 2, $1,000 on count 3, no bond on count 1, and I'm finding probable cause.
No victim contact.
Oh, no victim contact, thank you. No victim contact. Martin, Trey Martin. Main jail.
Yes, Your Honor, he's on his way.
All right. I'm finding probable cause. What is the state's request for bond?
$3,000, Your Honor.
$3,000. What's the defense request?
Your Honor, if we could at least bring that down to 2,500, then his mother and his sister would be able to pay out the bond. 3,000 would be too much.
Okay.
He would be going home to his mom and his sister's
That
house.
request
and
is
we wouldn't be
granted.
going.
No
Okay?
victim
Thank you.
contact,
You're
Your Honor.
welcome. So $2,500, no victim contact. No victim contact.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Kavanaugh, John Kavanaugh.
North
Yes, Your
Broward.
Honor.
No problem.
No
Okay?
problem.
Good morning, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Good morning, Your
All right, I
Honor.
find probable cause with Mr. Kavanaugh. State, what do you want to do with the bond?
No bond, Your Honor.
No bond. All right, is the gentleman VFO?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, defense?
No objection, Judge. He'll see his judge on Wednesday at 9:30.
Okay, all right, you're going to be in front of your division judge on Wednesday morning, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay, Markoff, Jarrett Markoff.
Your Honor, he's approaching at this time.
Okay. Okay, good morning, Mr. Markoff.
Good morning.
I find probable cause, okay? State, what do you want to do on the, I've got violation of pretrial release, and 2 capuses.
No bond as well, Your Honor.
No bond,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay? Defense?
Your Honor, we're asking for pretrial release with an ankle monitor at this time, to hold on no bond. You know, there's no way he would be getting out. This isn't, punishable by life. There's no reason to keep him in jail until further.
Well, he was out. See, he was out and he pulled a no-show at his calendar call, so that's why they issued the capias, okay? So I'm gonna, I'm gonna agree with the state on this, okay? And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna let the division judge, the young man's gonna be in front of the division judge this week, okay? And you can make that request again at that time, okay?
Okay,
But
thank you,
I'm
Your
not
Honor.
I'm not gonna set a bond again on this case. Okay, thank you. Brian Evans.
Thank you.
Brian Evans.
Your Honor, that's a municipal case.
Okay, how you doing, Ms. Carr?
I'm good. How are you, Judge?
I'm doing
Good
well.
to see you again.
I never see you anymore.
Yeah, I'm only here on the weekend.
Oh, okay. Okay, what do we have on Evans?
Your Honor, this is a municipal city ordinance out of the city of Hollywood.
Okay,
However, when I looked it up online, I couldn't find a new case number. I only saw 2019 case numbers. So I'm not sure like what's going on. He was here. He was magistrated on another case, I believe, yesterday or the day before.
okay.
So if somebody has a case number for this, I wasn't able to look it up. I guess
State,
is my point.
can you read out the case number?
You have one.
Your Honor, we can't hear here.
No
Mr.
one's,
Evans
no one's
can't hear.
talking, no one's talking.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, that's all right. We're just looking for the case number.
No. Yeah, because I wasn't able to find that he has any pending 2020 cases. Because it's showing on the docket as a new case,
Right,
but on the clerk's docket, it's. Okay, but the date on there is January 15th? Oh, no. So I'm
he was
just-
arrested on January 14.
Okay. I'm just curious, because it says that he was already magistrated. I just didn't want him to be magistrated twice. We had already been appointed. I was just trying to get some clarification. But otherwise, I would be asking if Mr. Evans wants to resolve the case today.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to resolve the case.
Okay,
So if Your Honor would be inclined to giving him time served, that's what we are asking for.
okay. State, you okay with that? Is that an adjudication or a withheld?
It's usually an adjudication, but you are also welcome to give him a withhold if you
So,
would
the
like.
okay, adjudication time served, is the state okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Raise your right hand for me, please. Oh, wait, do you want to see if the gentleman's okay with that?
No, I just spoke to him. He's okay with that.
All right, Mr. Evans, raise your right hand, please. You promise you promise you're gonna tell me the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me your name.
My name's Brian Evans.
Okay, Mr. Evans, your attorney just indicated, actually, the city attorney
That's
just
correct.
indicated that they would be
No,
willing.
Judge, I'm his public defender.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So, Ms. Carr just indicated to me that you would like to resolve this case by having an adjudication, time served. Are you okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, now you understand you don't have to do that.
No, sir, I do understand.
Okay, but you'd rather take this resolution than to go to a trial on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I find Mr. Evans to be alert, he's intelligent, he understands the charges, he understands the plea agreement. I accept his decision to take this plea agreement. It's a sentence of the court that the gentleman be adjudicated, sentenced to time served. Good luck, Mr. Evans.
Have a good day,
Thank you, Your
Brian.
Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carr.
You're welcome, Judge.
All right, that brings me to Nolan Bazell.
Giselle.
Whatever happened to our friend Radcliffe? They do have him? All right, I'll go back. Okay. How you doing, Mr. Bazell?
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm okay. I find probable cause. There's 2 active warrants.
Just excuse me, Your Honor. May I say something, please?
Well, hold on one second.
haven't-
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hold on one second. State, I'm showing $500 on the first capias and $2,000 on the second capias.
And I'm okay with you.
And you're saying leave that alone?
Yes.
All right, what's the defense asking me to do?
Your Honor, he had no notice, he's homeless, he had no notice of these court. He's homeless at the time, he said he didn't have any notice. He always shows up for his hearings. These are driving with license suspended offenses, these aren't violent offenses by any means.
Right?
We're asking for RO on both of these, especially because of the fact that he's homeless and he didn't have any access. Also, he has diabetes and lupus. He really needs to deal with those 2 medical
Right,
conditions.
right.
Um,
All right, so listen to
does-
me, please. Listen to me, please. I'm granting your request to ROR. I'm going to put him on standard pretrial. He must appear once a week in person. He must appear once a week in person to the pretrial release people, okay? So make sure
Thank you, Your Honor.
the gentleman knows where he has to go. But once a week, you can't call him. You got to go to their office so they can see you once a week, okay?
Okay.
Thank
This
you.
is it.
Thank you.
Judge,
Thank
Thank you, Your
I'm
Honor.
sorry, hold on one second, please, sir.
on the next one that you call, I was
Okay.
just asked by North Broward if we could call one out of turn. It's the second to last on the docket, David Willingham in North Broward.
You want to do that now?
They asked.
Okay, we can do that. Let me find it. All right, David Willingham at North Broward. David Willingham, North Broward. All right, good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, I've got 2 possessions and 2 violation of pretrial release conditions, $1,000, $1,000, $500, and $500. What's the state's position? Leave that alone?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what's the defense?
The judge, it's a tough position here. Mr. Willingham's unable to afford any kind of monetary bond. I understand we cannot do anything about counts 3 and 4. It's not for magistrate. So no matter what, he's going to sit in on the $1,000 bond. On count 1 and 2, I would ask maybe $100 each. He's going to eventually have to go in front of his division judge to try to find some sort of release, but I would ask not for the $1,000. He's going to be unable to afford anything, to be blunt.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce the bond on counts 1 and 2 to $500 each. I'm going to leave the bonds on counts 3 and 4 alone, $500 each. I am finding probable cause. All right, thank you, Mr. Willingham. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Germond Ratcliffe,
Thank you, Your Honor.
and that's at Conti, okay? Okay, good morning, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Good morning.
Okay, for Mr. Ratcliffe, I've got a violation of probation out of Kentucky, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an out-of-state hold, so there's no bond on this, right?
Okay, he'll see the extradition judge either Tuesday or Thursday this week.
All right, what we do, Mr. Ratcliffe, you're going to have an extradition hearing. It's either going to be Tuesday or Thursday of this week, okay?
Yes.
Okay, I don't address that today is what I'm trying to say to you. All right?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, that brings me to Henry Davis.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Okay? All right, I find probable cause on Mr. Davis. State, it's showing $250. State says leave it alone, $250.
Your Honor, at the time that the KPS was issued, they had the address wrong, they had his date of birth wrong, he never got his mail. No one can actually put a bond out for him. We're asking for ROR at this time. He says that he's never missed a court date when he's been called. The only reason that this occurred was because all the information that they had on file was incorrect.
Okay, so I'm gonna grant that request for ROR once a week.
Thank you.
Hold on, please. Once a week, Mr. Davis, you have to go into the pretrial release office and let them know you're still around, once a week, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
He's got a hearing this week at 9:30, it looks like on Wednesday morning.
Come around. Come on, David.
Oh, it's gonna be rescheduled, okay. Tony, you're working tomorrow, I'm telling you that right now. We got Reginald Fox. Reginald Fox. All right, it says capias. There's a capias on the gentleman. What's this about? Somebody talk to me, please. State, what's going on this one?
Your Honor, he failed to appear at his arraignment last year, July 16, 2019.
Okay, and the charge was failing to obey a police officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. It says $500 on the
Okay
sheet.
with that, Your Honor.
State wants to leave it alone at $500. What's the defense position?
Your Honor, Mr. Fox is homeless. He had no idea that these charges were against him. He has no family. He has been here in South Florida for 14 years. So he's just asking that if we could please ROR him.
Okay, so we're gonna ROR the gentleman. Once a week, he has to go into the pretrial release office.
I don't want that. I want
Okay, he says now that he would like to resolve.
Oh, okay, okay,
I don't want to come.
okay, all right. No, I don't blame you. All right, so State, what's it gonna take to resolve this case?
Credit time served, Your Honor.
Okay, is that an adjudication or a withheld?
An adjudication, Your Honor. He has prior driving while license.
Okay, adjudication time served is what the state's offering.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, raise your right hand for me, please, Mr. Fox. You promise you're gonna tell me the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. What's your name?
Reginald Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox, it's my understanding that you've worked out a plea agreement with the state. You're going to change your plea from not guilty to no contest, and the state is offering adjudication time served. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
That's my understanding of the plea agreement.
Okay, you understand you don't have to do that.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
but
Your Honor.
you want to take that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The court finds Mr. Fox to be alert, he's intelligent. I accept his decision to take this plea. So it's the sense of the court that the gentleman be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served. Good luck, Mr. Fox.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Marcus Buchanan. Good morning, Mr. Buchanan.
Morning.
I find probable cause. The sheet in front of me says $100 on the resisting, $500 on the capias. State wants to leave that alone. What's the defense position?
Your Honor, on the resist without violence, we're going to ask if we could ROR that. Also, on the capias, Your Honor, he filled out an address change form, a change address form. He never got notice on that, so we're also asking for ROR at this time.
And what are you saying on the resisting without?
Your Honor, we're just asking because it's a misdemeanor and there was no violence, and he's, as a misdemeanor, you're eligible to be released without any financial bonds, that we get ROR. He doesn't have any real family that would be able to, that he could reach out to and pay these bonds on him. It's not a violent offense.
And the capias was for a driving with suspended license, wasn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to grant the request to ROR him on both. I'm going to make a requirement that he must personally appear in the pretrial release office once a week. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. We got Vernon Coleman. Vernon Coleman.
That means you. He's approaching.
All right.
Take your car.
That's a municipal case, Your Honor, and
All
he's
right.
coming.
Yep, I got Miss Carr back up here.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm showing $25 bond. I'm finding probable cause.
There's no
And-
objection. He'd like to resolve to a no contest plea today.
Okay.
Time served.
Adjudication time served.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he's already, State, you're okay with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Coleman, can I get you to raise your right hand? Did you need to visit with him, Ms. Carr?
I spoke to him on the phone.
Okay, all right. Mr. Coleman, you promise you're gonna tell me the truth?
Yes.
Okay, what's your name?
Vernon Cole.
Okay, Mr. Coleman, your attorney, Ms. Carr, just told me that you want to resolve this case today with an adjudication time served. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right. The court finds that Mr. Coleman is alert, he's intelligent, he understands what he's doing. So I'm gonna accept his decision to take this plea. It's the sense of the court that the gentleman be adjudicated, sentenced to time served. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Coleman.
Thank you.
Have a good day, Vernon.
We've got Curtis Anthony. Okay, good morning, Mr. Anthony.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Okay, I find probable cause on Mr. Anthony. The sheet in front of me is showing $500 for each capias. State wants to leave that alone.
Your Honor, Mr. Anthony would like to resolve today.
Okay? State, what's the offer?
The offer would be adjudication.
I'm sorry?
Adjudication credit time served.
Adjudication time served.
Are you good with the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Anthony, raise your right hand, please. You promise you're going to tell me the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. What's your name?
Curtis Anthony.
All right, Mr. Anthony, your attorney just told me you want to resolve today by accepting the state's offer of adjudication time served. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, you understand you don't have to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay, but you'd rather take that plea agreement than to go to trial?
That's right.
All right.
That's correct.
All right, the court finds Mr. Anthony is alert, he's intelligent, he understands the charges, he understands the plea agreement. I accept his decision to take the plea. It's a sentence of the court that the gentleman be adjudicated guilty and sentenced to time served. Thank you, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, counsel, what case do you have?
The next, oh,
What's that? Oh. Hate making you wait here all morning. I don't know if there's a way we can accommodate you, but if so, oh, look at this, I'm not signing these. I've never seen you before, that's why I thought you were an attorney. All right, good for you, man, good for you. All right. I'm gonna keep moving, but if someone says, Judge, Jesus Christ, would you take a breather here so we can, just raise your hand and we'll do that, there's no, otherwise, I'm gonna keep moving, okay? We have Timothy Scott Erler.
he's at main jail, Your Honor. These are municipal ordinance cases as well.
Oh, okay. Come on up, Mr. Erler.
And I did speak with him already.
Okay, we gonna resolve this?
He would like to resolve, yes, time served.
Okay, are we gonna do an adjudication time served, State?
Adjudication credit time served is fine.
Okay. Ms. Carr, you've already visited with the gentleman?
Yes, and I already spoke to him about that offer.
Okay, Mr. Erler, raise your right hand, please. You promise you're gonna tell me the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. What's your name?
Timothy Scott Early.
All right, Mr. Early, your attorney, Ms. Carr, just told me that you want to resolve today by changing your plea from not guilty to no contest, and in exchange, the state's recommending that I adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to time served. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. The court finds Mr. Erler to be alert, he's intelligent, he understands the charges, he understands the plea agreement. So I accept his decision to take this plea agreement. It's a sentence of the court that the gentleman be adjudicated guilty and sentenced to time served. I wish you the best of luck, Mr. Erler.
Have a good day, Timothy. Judge, may I approach with my order?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't ever come in my courtroom anymore.
Not anymore.
You used to.
I actually switched my practice area to special education rights. Yeah, but then I'm also
So good. Welcome. Great. That's great. You gotta talk Tanya into coming in tomorrow. I'm still working on her. Call Jared and trade with him. Oh, no, don't misread that. Jared might be an A+. I have no idea, you know. We have Marlon Hudson. Marlon Xavier Hudson. Okay, good morning, Mr. Hudson.
Good morning.
I find probable cause. The sheet in front of me says $25 bond. State says leave it alone.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if we could put it for ROR, it's just a second degree misdemeanor. If we could put it for ROR so he can be released.
Okay, but if we go that route now, he's got to touch base once a week. I don't know which he's going to find more onerous.
Okay, he'll wait for the bond then, Your Honor.
All right, $25 bond. Probable
Yes.
cause, $25 bond. Thank you. Marcandy Joseph. Okay, good morning, Mr. Joseph. I find probable cause. The sheet in front of me says $100 for resisting without.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry.
he's currently on pretrial in case number 19010718 CF10A for carrying a
Your Honor, I can't hear them.
and case number 192863 CF10A for carrying a possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. Pretrial is asking that you revoke his pretrial in both cases.
All right, so what we have to do is we have to say all that again so the young lady on the screen here can hear what we're doing, okay?
It's on.
Okay, so let's do that again. We're going to do it again, okay?
Thank you.
He's currently on pretrial in case number 192863 CF10A for possession of heroin, possession of cannabis 20 grams or less, and in case number 19010718 CF10A for carrying a concealed firearm. Pretrial is asking that you revoke his pretrial.
Okay. Defense.
Your Honor, these are nonviolent charges against him. If we could put him on a higher pretrial, he'll wear an ankle monitor.
Right.
We could also have him do the monitor that is put on the leg so that you can
Okay.
test if necessary.
I got you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grant the request to revoke pretrial. And if the gentleman wants to take it up with the division judge, he can. Okay? So that's no bond with me, but that's something you can take up with the division judge.
Okay.
And that was Mr. Joseph, am I correct?
And just to be clear, on the new charges, Judge, you're just going to leave it all the same. The $100 count 1, and then count 2, count 3, no charge.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Tadane Pierre. Tadane Jimmy Pierre, please. Good morning, Mr. Pierre. All right, I've got a resisting without and unlawful speed. $100. I'm finding probable cause. I've got $100 on the resisting and nothing on the speed. State says leave that alone. What's the defense want to do?
Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm finding probable cause. I'm gonna leave the bond at $100.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Leslie Smith.
North Broward.
Your Honor, it says North Broward.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I find probable cause. Sheet in front of me says $100 for giving false ID to a law enforcement officer. State says leave it alone.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay?
Judge, this is a reset. So he's been in custody for a few days, unable to afford bond. I do not believe he's able to afford the $100. I'm asking for some sort of pretrial release. I would ask for
Okay.
standard.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grant your request for ROR, pretrial release. Mr. Smith, once a week you need to touch base in person with the pretrial release people. Once a week, they need to see you. You gotta go into their office. Okay? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay? That brings me to Trey Hamilton.
He's coming, Your Honor.
All right? All right, good morning, sir. With Mr. Hamilton, I've got a capious on a carrying a concealed firearm, is that right? All All right, the sheet in front of me says $1,000 bond. I find probable cause. State, you're saying leave that alone? State says leave it alone, $1,000 bond.
Your Honor, if we could bring it down to $750, then his mother would be able to bond him out.
All right, I'm gonna leave it alone at the 1,000. He's seeing Judge Duffy on Wednesday. He can make that request again of the division judge, okay? I'm gonna leave the bond at 1,000. You're welcome.
Yeah, he does have an immigration hold,
Oh, he has an immigration hold. Okay, I was not aware of that. Okay? That's okay. Did you get that, counsel? On Hamilton, there's an immigration hold.
I did. It doesn't show here either.
Okay.
So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Ojeda, Samuel Ojeda. Come on up,
Your Honor,
sir.
he's approved.
All right. All right, Mr. Ojeda, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I'm finding probable cause. The sheet in front of me says $1,000 bond for the gentleman on the grand theft. What's the state want to do? Leave it alone?
Your Honor, the state would be asking for a $1,500 bond. This would be his third theft, and he also has an unfiled domestic violence pending.
Okay, the state is asking to increase the bond from 1,000 to 1,500 because it's his third theft arrest, and there's an unfiled domestic violence case against him.
Second.
Your Honor, it should be at most a second, and we're asking that it stay at the $1,000 bond rate.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it alone at $1,000. I'm finding probable cause, I'm gonna leave it alone at $1,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hennick, dejuiced. Hennick, dejuiced. Please. Good morning,
Sorry,
sir.
Mr. Dishes.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 violation of probations and a grand theft. All right? My sheet says no bonds on the VOPs, $1,000 on the grand theft. State?
That's what I'm finding.
State says leave that alone.
Your Honor, if we could please do pretrial release on all of them. He'd be open to doing pretrial release, whatever is your Honor would suggest at this time. He can't afford anything.
Right.
So there's already no bond holds on him, but also for the grand theft, they would be essentially holding in on no bond hold by
Right.
putting any.
Right, okay. I'm not gonna set bonds on those VOPs. He's gonna be in front of the division judge this week, and he can ask the division judge to do that, okay? So I'm not setting bonds on the VOPs. I'm gonna leave the bond on the grand theft at $1,000.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nolan Brown. Is that main jail? Nolan Brown, please. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Okay, I've got a ag assault with a deadly weapon. State's asking what?
5,000 on count 1 and 500 count 2, and that's based on both the facts of the case and its priors.
Okay, count 1 is ag assault with a deadly weapon. It says with intent to kill. State's asking $5,000 bond on count 1. Count 2 is resisting without. State's asking for what? 500 on count 2. What's the defense? I'm finding probable cause. 5,000 on count 1, 500 on count 2.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor,
That's okay.
I had to speak to him for a second. Your Honor, can we please bring that down to 2,500 on count 1, and on count 2, if we could just keep it at, ROR. Your Honor, he doesn't have anyone here in South Florida, he's homeless, he has a little bit of money in his wallet, but he also needs access to his wallet, which is in property.
All right, I'm going to
Do you have a
reduce.
credit card?
All right, I'm going to.
I'm sorry, you're.
I'm going to set the bond at $2,500 on count 1. The bond is $500 on count 2. And I'm going to let the division judge determine his access to his property. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay?
Okay,
contact.
thank you, Your Honor.
Hold on one second, okay?
The state's also requesting no victim contact.
No victim contact,
Okay,
okay? 2,500 on count one, 500 on count two. George Gomez.
Your Honor, he speaks Spanish. We need a translator.
We just happen to have one. All right. Mr. Interpreter, raise your right hand. Do you promise that you're going to interpret English to Spanish, Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay? All right, now, on Mr. Gomez,
Entonces, en el caso del señor Gómez,
I find probable cause.
determino que si hay motivo fundado.
I notice there's an immigration hold on the gentleman, correct?
Cabe mencionar que el señor tiene una orden de
Okay.
restricción de inmigración.
It says $100 on count one.
Dice
What's the
$100
state want to do on the violation of probation?
$100 en el cargo número 1, la fiscalía que quiere hacer con el quebrantamiento del probatorio.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
We ask that everything as is.
Pedimos que
As
permanezca,
is, Judge.
que permanezcan sus fianzas.
All right, so you're saying $100 on driving
Están pidiendo $100 por
with the
el cargo de
suspended
manejar con la
license
licencia
and no
suspendida,
bond on the violation of
que
probation.
no le dimos fianza para el cargo de
Okay.
quebrantamiento del probatorio. Si eso
What's
lo
the
hacemos,
defense position?
¿Qué opina la defensa?
I was informed, Judge, he refused our services.
A mí me avisaron
representing
que
himself.
él
Okay.
negó nuestros servicios y se está representando por sí mismo.
All right, Mr. Gomez,
Entonces, señor Gómez,
you don't want the public defender to represent you?
¿usted no quiere que la Defensoría Pública lo represente a usted?
Your Honor, it's hard for him to understand. I speak Spanish, so I'll try and tell him as
Pues
well,
es
but
difícil
it's really
que le
hard
entienda, pero
because
es
of
muy
the problems
difícil
going on.
alcanzar a escuchar lo que se está diciendo por el ruido que hay aquí.
Would he like the public defender to represent him in this case?
Señor, ¿usted quiere que el defensor público lo represente en este caso?
¿Se puede escuchar? Ok, están diciendo si usted quiere el public defender para representarle.
¿Cómo es un abogado de aquí?
Sí, yo soy el public defender.
Esto, ¿cuánto?
He still refuses, Your Honor.
Okay.
Si está negando
All right.
nuestros servicios.
So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to keep the bond at $100 on the count one, driving with suspended license.
Lo que vamos a hacer es lo siguiente, dejar en
not-
$100 la fianza por el cargo número 1 de manejar con la licencia suspendida
I'm not going to set a bond on the violation of probation counts.
y por el momento no voy a fijar fianza para los cargos de quebrantamiento de probatoria.
Mr. Gomez, you're allowed to bring that matter back up to the attention of the division judge when you're in front of him or her this week.
Señor Gómez,
You will be in front of a judge this week.
Usted tiene permiso de abordar ese tema de nuevo ante el juez de la división que se encargue de su caso, porque usted comparecerá ante ese juez esta semana.
All right, good luck, Mr. Gomez.
Buena suerte, señor Gómez.
Okay. Deontay Newsom. Deontay Newsom. Good morning, sir. All right, I find probable cause on Mr. Newsom. We have no bond set on count one, possession of a firearm by a felon, and we have $1,000 on count two. What's the state's position?
We're asking for $1,000 in count one, Judge.
The state's asking for $1,000 on each count.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor, we accept that.
Okay? I find probable cause, $1,000 on each count. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Surratt, please. Okay, I find probable cause on Mr. Surratt. I've got two violation of community controls. What's the state's position on the bonds?
Can be kept as is, Judge.
Okay, no bond. State's asking no bond.
Your Honor, this isn't a violation of probation, it's community control. If we could please, set the bond at 25 on each. Well, he can afford at most 25 overall, so if we could set it somewhere in the 1,000 range for each charge.
Okay, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to set a bond on these two violation of community controls. The gentleman's going to be in front of Judge Garcia Wood this week, and he can bring up the issue again. Okay?
Okay.
Henry Kwiatkowski, please. Henry Kwiatkowski. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I find probable cause in your case. You got ag assault with a deadly weapon, and you got possession of an open container. State, what's your position on bond?
We're asking for $2,000 for count one, Judge.
The state's asking for $2,000 on count one. What's the defense position?
Whereas, Your Honor, we need an order, first of all, because I see injuries on his face.
Okay.
If we could have for photos. He's 74 years old, Your Honor. He's never had anything prior. 2,000 seems excessive in this case, given that he has these injuries. If we could put it at 1,000.
Okay. Okay, I find probable cause. I'm going to keep the bond at $2,000 on count one, ROR on count two.
Thank you. And can we get the order for the photos,
Yes,
please, Your Honor?
yes, you
Thank
can.
you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, you're welcome. Who's putting together that order? Is that, okay, thank you. All right, we have Mr. Brewer Sanders, please.
Your Honor,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. If
that's
we could
okay.
recall-
Sure.
If we could also have an order for access to his property. He has a wallet, his wallet and his phone. He will
Oh.
be able to pay the bond.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that up to the division judge. Okay, so I'm not granting that. I don't, whenever someone's asking for access to property, I want the division judge to handle that. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Judge, when it comes to the phone, we have the agreed language with BSO.
Okay. State has no problem with that? I don't want to get in the way of, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, so he's gonna have access to his phone.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Brewer Sanders, please. Okay, good morning, sir. All right, this is another violation of community control, okay? I find probable cause. State, you're asking what, no bond?
As is, yes, Judge.
State's asking no bond.
Your Honor, this isn't a violent offense. We're asking for $1,000 bond.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it as is, no bond. The gentleman can take it up with the division judge.
Okay.
When?
When will he be in front of the division judge, Your Honor?
Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock.
And
That's Judge
he's also
Usan.
asked- Usan, thank you.
Uh-huh. Omar Martinez Mejias.
Your Honor, we're gonna need an interpreter.
We're good. Okay. All right, Mr. Interpreter, you're still under oath, okay?
Counsel, can you hear me there through this microphone?
Now I can, thank you. Yes, it's just when there's a lot of any noise.
Okay, on Martinez Mejias, I have a burglary, a petty theft, and 2 capiases.
En el caso del señor Martínez Mejías, tenemos un cargo de robo con escalo, uno de hurto de menor cuantía y 2 órdenes de arresto pendientes.
State, what's your position?
Fiscalía, ¿qué opinan ustedes?
State's asking for 2,500 on count one and 500 on count two, Judge.
La fiscalía va a pedir 2.500 de
Okay,
fianza
so
para el cargo número 1 y
the
500
state is
dólares para
asking
el cargo
for
número 2.
$2,500 on count 1, the burglary,
La fiscalía está pidiendo 2.500 de fianza para el cargo número 1, el de robo con escalo,
$500 on count 2, the petty theft,
y 500 dólares por el cargo número 2 de hurto de menor cuantía,
and $100 on each of the capiases.
y 100 dólares por cada una de las
What's
órdenes
the
de
defense
arresto.
position?
La defensa, ¿qué opina?
Your Honor, if we could please bring down the burglary, the charge for burglary bond to $1,000. The petty theft, as well, is this a misdemeanor? Is this being charged as a misdemeanor or a felony? It's
Su
not clear
señoría,
on here.
por favor rebajen el primer la
State.
fianza del primer cargo de
Yes,
2.500
yes,
dólares a
priors,
1.000 dólares
including
y
a prior burglary to be more,
Is count 2 being filed as
el
a
cargo
misdemeanor
número
or
2 lo van
felony?
a formular como un cargo de delito menor o grave.
Misdemeanor.
Sería un delito
but
menor.
his priors do include a
Pero en sus antecedentes hay
battery from 2013.
una agresión del 2013,
A selling heroin 2009.
un cargo de vender heroína en el 2009,
A possession of a controlled substance without prescription 2009.
posesión de una sustancia regulada sin receta en el
Uttering
2009,
false bills 2008.
utilizar
enforcing fake
billetes
bills,
falsos en 2008,
2008.
Y otro cargo del mismo tipo en el 2008.
Selling heroin, 2009.
Comercialización de heroína en el
Possession of a
2009.
controlled substance without prescription,
Poseer una sustancia
2009.
regulada
All right,
sin
what I'm going to
receta en
do is this. I
2009.
find probable cause. I'm going
Eso
to
es lo que
leave
voy
the
a hacer.
bond at $2,500 on
Determino
count one,
que si hay motivo fundado,
$500 on count two,
puede dejar los
and $100
$2.500
on
para el
counts
cargo
3 and
número
4.
1, $500 por el cargo número 2 y $100 en cada uno de los cargos 3 y 4.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Thank you.
All right, court's going to take a 5-minute break. Mr. Dessler, you working tomorrow? I'm not. And Ms. Hernandez, Ms. Friedman, you guys are here tomorrow?
No,
What are you talking about? You only have to work one day? Is that right? So who's working tomorrow?
Ms. Campos and Mr. Resnick.
Campos and Resnick. Now, are you young ladies going to be here tomorrow with me? I love it. I love it. My confinement people. But Tanya's bailing on me. It's all right. No, you're welcome. Okay, are we ready? Everybody's ready? We have Albert Mears, please. All right, good morning, Mr. Mears.
Morning, sir.
Okay, with Mr. Mears, I find probable cause. We've got an aggravated battery. We got tampering. Okay, what's the state's position on the bond?
2,500 each, Judge.
State wants $2,500 bond on count one, and what's count two?
It's tampering.
Yeah, what's the bond request?
Oh, 2,500, I'm sorry.
2,500 on each count?
Yes, that's-
2,500 on each count.
Your Honor, at that rate, he would never get out. He doesn't have that much money. He can afford up to 1,000 on each count. He has a right to a reasonable bond. So we're asking for 1,000 on each count.
Okay, that
Towards the
request is granted.
possibility.
That request is
Thank
granted.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Derek Close. Derek Close. Okay, good morning, Mr. Close.
Good morning.
I'm finding probable cause on Mr. Close. And what's the state's position on the bond for the 3 counts? Got to speak up a little bit, please.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, Judge. We'd be asking for count 1, 2,500, and then as is for counts 2 and 3.
So you want 2,500 on count 1, no bonds on counts 2 and 3, the violation of probations.
Your Honor, he's homeless. He just expressed to me that he has an extreme desire and need for help regarding issues with drugs. He's asking if there's any way that he could either be put on an ankle monitor and be put into a program that would help him through homeless or a halfway house at this point. He said that he's in desperate need for help and
Okay.
he wants
And
help.
Judge, he does have several priors, including burglaries,
Okay,
including grand thefts in the recent years.
okay. All right, I'm going to set bond at $2,500 on the burglary. I'm not going to set bond on the violation of probations. Mr. Klaus, you're going to be in front of Judge Duffy on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, and you can revisit that issue at that time, okay? Thank you.
Judge, if I could just
Thank
inquire,
you.
would Mr. Klaus, wait 1 second,
Hold on 1 second, Mr. Klaus.
would Mr. Klaus like the judge to recommend him to be in SAP while he's in custody?
Okay? Mr. Klaus,
They got me.
you want to participate in the substance abuse
what do you call
program?
it right now? Detox.
They got you in detox.
They got me in detox, Judge, and that sounds fine.
I'm going
After
to
the
write a
detox.
short order saying that you recommend that he be placed in SAP.
Fine. State, you don't have a problem with that?
No, Judge.
Okay, good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've got Harold Julian. Harold Julian.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Julian? All right, I'm finding probable cause on, I've got 2 counts. I got a possession of counterfeit driver's license, and I've got displaying fictitious ID card. What's it? Oh, I'm sorry.
He's currently on pretrial in case number 195529 CF-10A for felony petty theft, unauthorized use of this ID card or driver's license, and possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. Pretrial is asking that you revoke his pretrial.
Okay. The pretrial is asking that I revoke his pretrial. What's the defense position?
1 second.
Sure.
Okay. Your Honor, he states that he was supposed to, the last time that he was in court, pretrial should have been removed. And it was supposed to be at that time, but it wasn't for whatever reason. So he was under the impression that he wasn't violating and that it was actually removed. So it wasn't intentional or willful. So we're asking that you deny that state's motion at this time until that's figured out whether or not pretrial really should have been released or whether pretrial should have been removed at
Right.
that time, terminated or not.
Okay, I'm going to grant the request to revoke pretrial release. And, but Mr. Julian, you're going to be in front of your division judge this week, and you can take it up with your division judge. I don't know who that is.
Judge Cole.
Oh, okay.
Colra, Your Honor.
Okay. You can revisit that issue with Judge Cholera, okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, if we could also ask if we could, I understand that, if he could get access to his property, the phone.
Yeah, that, apparently that's a standard request that people don't object to, so I don't have any problem with that. State doesn't have a problem with that. I think Mr. Dexter is going to prepare the order and I'll sign it.
Thank Thank you.
You're welcome. Junior LaFale. Junior LaFale. Okay, good morning, Mr. LaFale. I'm going to find probable cause. These are 2 possession charges and a parked in a no parking zone. What's the state's position on bond?
Yes, as is on count, 1, and then 100 on count 2.
All right, state's asking for a $1,000 bond on count 1, $100 on counts 2 and 3.
Your Honor, that's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Good luck, Mr. LaFale. All right, Ronaldo Contreras, please. This is a violation of probation. State, you're asking for no bond?
Yes, Judge.
State's asking for no bond. The gentleman is set to see Judge Uson Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. All right? I'm going to hold no bond on the violation of probation, and Mr. Contreras can bring that issue back up with Judge Uson.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Babkin, please.
Your Honor, he's at North Broward.
Medical reset.
That's a medical reset? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Babkin's a medical reset. So, Tanya, I just gave you that? I just hand that to you? Okay. Matthew Poulos.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Poulos?
Good, sir.
I got battery on a firefighter. Okay, I'm finding probable cause. What does the state want to do on a bond?
$5,000, Judge.
Okay, state wants $5,000 bond. Mr.
Judge, this is a-
Dessler?
This is a change of charge. It was originally set at $1,000. It changed from Bat Leo to Bat Firefighter. I'm just asking for the same $1,000. He's being
Okay.
held no bond on a different count.
Okay, so
He does have several priors, Judge.
Right.
Including a robbery, that was adjudication in 2015.
okay, no. But I'm going to go ahead and agree with the defense on this. I'm going to set the bond at $1,000, okay? I'm finding probable cause, bond is $1,000.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Willie Morris. Conti. Willie Morris, there he is. Good morning, Mr. Morris.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. I'm finding probable cause, possession of a firearm by a felon. What's the state want to do for a bond?
It's a,
I'll tell you, Your Honor, it was originally set at $5,000, change of charge. It went from, I think the charge originally was possession of a firearm by convicted felon. Now they say firearm by felon. I have no objection to the same $5,000.
Okay, bond is set at $5,000. Okay, I've got Michael Catania.
Reset.
Reset. Tanya, I'm just going to give you that. Is that all right? We got John Ursell.
Main jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Ursell?
Could be better. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay, I've got violation of community control. The state?
as is, Judge.
State says no bond.
Your Honor, if we could please put a bond on this. Mr. Ursell had been going to community control. He had been asked to go many, many times. And because he was going so often, he actually just, kind of misunderstood the date. But up until the point where he misunderstood, he was consistently going, consistent. It wasn't intentional.
Okay.
It wasn't willful.
Okay.
We could put a bond on him.
Okay, what I'm going to do, Mr. Ursell, is this. I'm going to defer to Judge Coleman. You're going to be in front of Judge Coleman Wednesday morning at 8:30, and you can ask Judge Coleman to set the bond, okay? I'm not setting a bond on a violation of community control or probation. Thank you. We got Michael Cooper,
Medical reset.
medical reset. And last, but not least, Wayne Curry.
North Broward.
No problem. Yes, sir.
Okay, with Mr. Curry. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Curry, I'm finding probable cause. We've got 5 counts. On count 1, it says $1,000. On count 3, possession, it says $1,000. There are no bonds set on counts 2, 4, and 5. State.
$1,000 in each, Your Honor.
$1,000 on each count. Mr.
Judge,
Dessler.
Judge, I spoke to Mr. Curry this morning. He's unable to afford any monetary bond. What I'm requesting is standard pretrial. He has to check in twice a week in person and have random drug testing.
But he definitely has several priors, a pending petty theft in Dade, a petty theft, a 2019 petty theft, a 2016 petty theft, a 2016 grand theft, 2016 prison of PvP, 2016 grand theft, 2016 petty theft, 2016 petty theft, 2015 petty theft, 2016 possession of cocaine, 2016 resisting without.
All right, what I'm going to do, Mr. Curry, is this. I'm finding probable cause. I'm going to set bond at $500 on each count. If you want to revisit that and ask for a no monetary bond and just strictly non-monetary terms of release, make that request to your division judge.
I would just ask, Your Honor, this morning, because from my understanding, he's unable to afford any monetary bond. He's lived in South Florida his whole life. All his family's down here. He specifically lives with his mother. I would ask, Your Honor, then this morning, if you want him to be on a GPS monitor, I would ask for an open schedule, but you can have the address verified first. It's just he's going to be held in the short term. So I would ask GPS open schedule, verify the address where he lives with his mom, and then to be ROR'd monetarily.
Okay, that request is denied. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Curry. Okay. What do we got? Anything further? Okay, so tomorrow morning now, do you guys know if I have Officer Henry with DJJ back again? I meant to ask him. It's going to be him. Mr. King is going to be here from the Attorney General's? Don't know? Okay. I've got Hernandez and Friedman back. No, I don't. I've got Campos and Resnick. Campos and Resnick.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dessler's back. Okay. And I've got my confinement ladies back. Okay, everybody, thank you. Thanks, Tanya. You're welcome. All right, now, so tomorrow morning, that stack's going to be sitting right here again, right? Yes. But there's no juveniles and there's no shelters. Because those come in too late.
So, man, Gerald, can somebody turn off the feed? Thank you.
I've only been petty 47 times today. God, no. No, I love Susie. So, like, good student in a good way. Like me.
That is this.
Oh, you went to like over here.